Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Festus Abujese. I want to talk to you this afternoon. Topic I titled The Worst Enemy of Humanity. A number of essence have described this enemy as some say that the worst enemy of a man is man himself. Some have called it the Satan, the devil. Some have defined this enemy as others. So I've referred things, one or two things, as their worst enemy. But in this context and this episode, after a thorough research as which this enemy is, I've come to the conclusion that the worst enemy of humanity is ignorance. First, I have to define enemy in my own term. I have to define the enemy in my own terminology. Who is an enemy and what is an enemy? Enemy is that particular thing, that person or woman, that entity that works against your interest, that is against your interest. Such an entity can be described as an enemy. By this definition, you can now begin to attribute it to various things. You can now attribute it to yourself, to things around you, to people you have around you, to your thoughts, to everything around you. In other words, if your thought is against your interests, therefore your thought has become an enemy to you. If your actions are against your interests, that means your actions have become an enemy to you. So whatever that works against your interest is an enemy. If it's your brother and your brother is against your interests, that your brother have become an enemy. And when it comes to an enemy, we have temporal enemy and permanent enemy. We call devil enemy because devil is our permanent enemy as Christians. But temporal enemy could be yourself, could be people around you. They are momentary, they are there for a moment. They are not, in other words, they are not your permanent enemy, but at that moment, they were against your interest. So that moment, they are acting as an enemy. So that's why you have to be careful of people around you and the opinions, the thoughts that comes to you. You have to examine it to know if they are friendly or enemy. If they are friends or of enemy. Jesus was with Peter in the Bible, as the Bible recorded. Peter has been one of the apostles. But at the time, he offered Jesus an advice. But that advice was against the interests of Jesus. Therefore, Jesus classified it as enemy. He called Peter Satan because of that thought. That is it. Now, having defined an enemy, now who and what is the worst enemy of humanity? From my research, I have come to realize that the worst enemy of humanity is simply ignorance. Ignorance is the worst enemy of humanity. Why did I choose ignorance of all these things I've mentioned? I choose ignorance because ignorance is one thing that is common in our world today. that as a human being we are not perfect. We are imperfect beings. No man can know it all. You don't know it all. That's why you're a human. And therefore we learn from others. Therefore we bank on knowledge. We pay for knowledge. We have to go for knowledge because we want to know. When one is informed, such a person is reformed, is refined. Such a person can be able to distinguish between good and evil. When one is not educated, is not informed, therefore the person will become a problem himself. Instead of you to solve problem, people will be solving as problem because you're a bag of problem. You're a bag of ignorance. Have you realized that the higher people go in knowledge, the humbler they become? But those people at the low ladder of education, they are usually arrogant, full of themselves. In fact, ignorance is a disease. Why do people kill today in the world? People kill because they don't know the value of life. Why do people go sell their body for money? It's because they don't understand what they're worth. Why do people commit all manner of atrocities? Because they don't understand what they are. Why do we have politicians who are there to share money, disgrace us publicly, and make us a laughing stock among the legion of nations? It's because our politicians are ignorant. They don't understand. They are not informed. Being informed is not about going to a high institution. Being informed is not about going to study in UK, in London, in US, in different countries of the world. That is not it. Being informed is about understanding the essence of life. As human beings, we should understand the essence of life. Why are we living? What is the essence? What is the purpose of this life? We got to understand the essence of this life. Most people go through life without knowing the essence of their life, why they are here on earth. Some people live a life of shame, disgrace, a lot of life without understanding the primary reason to which we are here. You know, a learned man, one of a thinker, a philosopher once said that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Most of us have abused the privilege of this life because we don't understand, because of ignorance. So it's always a good thing to understand, to know, to learn, to understand the essence of this life. You see people, they kill, they quarrel, they fight their brothers, they commit all manner of things because they don't understand. Some people, they go to the extent of killing their brother. Imagine a life that is only you living on earth. How will you enjoy that life? If you understand that you need me just as I need you, you will not kill me. In fact, you want me to come close because you need me just as I need you. So let us understand that ignorance is the worst enemy of humanity. Let us understand that for you to go far in life, you must acknowledge the fact that you need to do away with ignorance. Ignorance is never a friend. You cannot pamper ignorance. Never you pamper it. Pay any price you need to pay. Do whatever you need to do to come out of it. Ignorance is not something you play with. Don't live with it in your house. If you live with it in your house, it will disgrace you. If you want to make it your friend, it will always disgrace you. Do away with ignorance. When I talk of ignorance, I'm talking about the worst enemy of humanity. Now, what is the tool you can use to fight this ignorance? The only tool you can use to fight ignorance is knowledge. Knowledge is the wonderful tool. But unfortunately, a lot of us are learning bad things. We are getting knowledge in negative things, in the mundane things of this earth. You need to get informed in the real thing. And what's the real thing? The knowledge of God, the knowledge of the Word of God, the knowledge of the Word of God, the knowledge of God. That is where you need to get informed. When you are not informed, you are deformed already. But when you are informed, you are aware. When you are informed with the knowledge of the will of God, then you understand. You will be seeing life from the angle of God. You will approach life from the angle of God, not by naysay or by how what your friend taught you, but you'll be flowing life the way it should. So, my dear brothers and sisters, strive for knowledge. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is worth paying for. Knowledge of good is worth dying for. Strive. Do anything you can do to get knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.